We begin tonight's game at the funeral of Professor Ashford. Many notable individuals from the British Museum and senior ranks of universities and historical societies are gathered together at his fancy Kensington address to mourn his passing. On account of the rather distressing manner in which his death occurred and the unfortunate state of his body, this is a closed casket wake. There will be no viewing of the professor's body tonight. The house is in full mourning. The clock's stopped. The mirrors draped in black. And amidst the many guests are the three people who found his body. The undertaker, Thomas Carter, the author, D'Angelo Williams, and fellow historian, Miss Martha Carter, known to her friends as Maddie. And you are amongst the many other guests in this house, everyone in mourning dress, milling around, making polite and suitably somber conversation. And amidst all these people, you can see most prominently the professor's wife, Genevive, in full mourning, draped in black. Veiled in black, wearing his little long black crepe dress. And people are pausing to pay their polite respects to her. And as she makes her way around, as the mingle of the room comes around, as she crosses paths with Mr. Williams, she says, Mr. Williams, I understand you were one of the ones that found my husband's body.
Yes, indeed. I am sorry for your loss.
Yes, I was wondering if, after the burial, if it might be possible for us to meet with the company of Miss Carter and Mr. Carter, of course. We'll speak to them in a moment. I have some questions. Some things were left quite unclear by the police when they spoke to me. And I was hoping that the three of you might be able to shed a little more light on the circumstances of his death.
Of course, if there's anything within my power to tell you, I will tell you what I can.
On another note, how well do you know the other two, Miss Carter and her cousin of some sort?
I'm not sure if there's any relation between the two of them, but we met at the expedition. From what I can tell, they are upstanding people. Very interesting to be around, but I can't claim to know them for too long or too well.
You've not noticed anything unusual about them, have you?
Unusual in what way?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know, the grief talking, the worry, but you see, I don't know how much you know about Miss Carter, but it's almost a decade ago now. Her great uncle was a good friend of my husband's and a great benefactor to the museum. And he died under slightly unclear circumstances himself. And I don't know, it's just, you ever get that feeling that there's something you're missing? There's something right there in front of your eyes you're not seeing?
I've found it a few times in my work, but I find that oftentimes not knowing is a form of reassurance. I don't know too much about this uncle, so I can't speak to them or what happened to them, but I can assure you that they aren't any more odd than any other historians I've met in my time.
Yeah, they are strange. Speaking as an amateur historian myself, we are a strange association of people. Anyway, I thank you for your time, Mr. Williams.
If there's anything I can do for you, just let me know.
When we speak again.
Awesome.
Mr. Carter.
Hello. Sorry about your loss. If there's anything I can do for you, feel free to just ask.
Well, on that subject, there is perhaps something. I was speaking to Mr. Williams a minute ago, and I was wondering if there might be a chance to speak further with yourself, Mr. Williams, and Miss Carter, who I'm informed is not a relative.
Yes, no relation. Complete coincidence.
Sorry for that confusion. After the burial this evening, if that might be possible.
Of course.
I had a few further questions.
I'll answer any questions you have I can, to the best of my ability.
And this is an out-of-character question. Is Thomas Carter here in a purely sort of attending guest capacity, or was he at all involved in the preparation of this funeral? Or is it?
If he was asked to, he would have been involved with preparing the funeral. If he wasn't asked to, he'd attend as a guest.
I suppose that the Ashfords would probably have pre-existing arrangements, though you are a local funeral director, so perhaps that either you're involved or you would know the funeral directors that are involved, like you'd be
very likely.
they're probably your competitors around the corner.
Yes, it's very likely, being that we've only recently moved to this part of the city, that they already had something in place beforehand, but it's very likely we know the people involved.
Yes, and you can see where they've cut corners on that crepe over there. Like,
yes, I'll keep quiet, but I'll be thinking about that to myself.
Right, thank you for your time.
No problem.
Miss Carter, thank you for coming by.
Mrs. Ashford, I am so sorry. My condolences.
I know that my husband always spoke very highly of you and seemed to have a great respect for you. I was wondering if I could ask you a favour. If you could come by after the funeral and help me answer a few questions. I feel the police have been less than thorough in this matter. Are you at all familiar with an Inspector Thorne?
A beast of a man.
She glances around to make sure no one's listening. Exactly. Honestly, quite unbearable. He was very unwilling to give any details of what had actually happened. Said my poor fragile mind wouldn't be able to cope.
He doesn't believe that. I feel that he believes women should stay in the home and not be seen.
Well, yes, I'm sure he does. But, well, much as I still love Matthias, sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd had the resources to go your route. Be a properly independent woman.
It's a struggle, a very different kind of struggle. And honestly, if my Uncle John hadn't have required somebody here, probably would have ended up married anyway.
Yes. Your uncle, he was quite the curious gentleman, really. I remember we had him over for dinner a couple of times. He some strange areas of study, very eclectic mix. Never settling on a field. One moment he's an Egyptologist, the next he's a classicist, and then he's studying medieval manuscripts.
Yes, he had a wide variety of interests. And unfortunately, or fortunately, he's passed them on to me, so.
Indeed. Well, I should see the museum director over there. I should be clearly keen to pay condolences. Words I've heard plenty of times this evening. Everyone is very sorry.
Well, I will gladly be here to answer any questions that you have, and if you need any help whatsoever, if you just need a friend to sit with you quietly, I'd be glad to do that for you as well.
Thank you. You are most kind. And as she heads over to speak to other guests, the funeral winds down over the course of the next hour or so, and as the procession is prepared to take the coffin to the church, and from there to be buried in the churchyard. And as the procession makes its way out the house, the three of you find yourselves sort of grouped together, and if there's anything you wish to say, there's not many people around that either know you or seem to be listening in, so you seem to have a private moment alone should you choose to take advantage of it.
Are you both all right?
Doing well, keeping busy. And yourself?
I'm fine. That was an odd experience, but doesn't seem to have any issues.
But it was very strange. I've not been involved with anything like that before. I'm not sure what happened.
I think anyone could explain what happened, but it seems that it worked.
Seems to. So something happened, but I don't understand it. But we did something and it worked.
I would suggest we keep an eye open for any more of those strange tablets.
We might have to see if we get an opportunity to somehow swap the one that the museum has with the melted one that we have. That way, there's no chance anyone will use that to somehow cause this mess again. They shouldn't, because I think the tablet they've got, it's all backwards anyhow. But they're a similar size, so if we could swap them somehow, that'd be... It'd certainly make things safer.
Agreed.
It's not something we should put ourselves out to do, but if we get an opportunity, why not?
Of course. I would also recommend that we make sure that no other translators come close to piecing things together. If that was truly some sort of curse, we should make sure that no one accidentally does it again.
Rather than going through the stress of swapping them, just find a way to melt the one that's there.
Or mark it so it can't be read. But you both been asked to speak with the professor's wife?
Yes. Later today. Honestly, she deserves answers.
She does.
But We don't exactly have many of those to tell her. We would be thought insane if we were to tell them some sort of magic was involved.
That's very true. I'm not sure how aware she is of those strange matters. But there's a lot of stories about curses out of Egypt and the like, so perhaps we could imply that there's a tablet was cursed and it caused the incident, which is true, but we don't know because we weren't there. We arrived after the incident.
If you think that is best.
We'll have to see what questions she has for us and take it from there, I suppose. But you are right, she does deserve some answers.
Very well, I'll follow your lead.
The ceremony itself is, as suiting a man who did great things and passed in very unusual circumstances well before his time. There's a lot of people trying their best to sort of keep that stiff upper lip and keep it together in public, especially the senior museum staff. He was generally, it seemed, well liked by the museum. Most didn't have much argument with most people working at the museum, although you hear a few whispers over the course of the day about his rivalry with some academics at other institutions, including a Dr. James Woodward at Oxford who died on the very same day, under the very same circumstances. And while people comment on this fact, they don't really seem to know what quite to make of it, other than it is a bizarre coincidence. And everyone here is a little too skeptical to start muttering the word curse in public, at least. Though what they're thinking to themselves, you don't know. But after the ceremony is done, you have an invite back to the Ashford house in Kensington. And a servant shows you through to the black draped parlour where Genevieve is waiting. And she sort of plucks aside a veil. Forgive the lack of formality, but I find this thing quite cumbersome. And I'm sure that that's what it'd forgive me for not keeping it on.
I'm not saying anything to the contrary.
Good. Well, thank you. All of you, well, three of you, for coming here. I mentioned a little before why I wanted to talk to you. You were there, well, not there when he died, but you couldn't have been far away when he died, and you were the first to see him afterwards. The police, they say it must have been an accident, he must have dropped his pipe, but that makes no sense on a whole number of levels. You would never have spoken in his office. There's valuable paperwork in there, and manuscripts, and he was not a fool.
No, he was not. No. Well, here's what we know, or at least what I know. I'm not sure if they 100% saw things as I saw it. I was in the room taking note of what was found on the dig. They were there as well, but I heard something. A scream of some sort, I think. And to the room, I asked if anybody heard it. And no one acknowledged except for Mr. Carter and Mr. Williams. So we left. We heard the scream again. And then we got to the corridor his office was in. I peeked through the window in his door and it was so smoky inside. And then I can't remember who opened the door. It might have been me, but it might not have been.
I believe it was you. I think we opened some of the nearby doors and windows because there was a lot of smoke in there. Just to get as much of the smoke out of the room as we could.
Yes, and I was looking to see if there were flames in his office. But once the door was open, there were no flames. Nothing was marred except for his body.
Makes no sense.
I think it was a case of spontaneous combustion caused by a curse.
A curse.
There were a number of spontaneous human combustions a few years back, I think, which I don't believe they ever tracked down the cause.
No. So you truly, I mean, I know about your little society, but you truly believe this was a curse?
We think we came upon it. We think he came upon it accidentally.
Right. And you come across these sort of things often? Curses?
Among other things, yes.
Other things? What sort of other things?
People who are half fish.
Sorry, I shouldn't have asked if I didn't want to know.
It does sound rather strange. I think this is the first time I've encountered anything like this myself. But it does sound like one of those penny dreadfuls that people read these days.
Thing is, a week ago I wouldn't have believed this. I thought, no offence meant, Miss Carter, but I thought you'd gone a little bit mad after your uncle's death. And that medium you used to hang around with, all that nonsense. But
Oh yes, I did go quite a bit mad. But it wasn't because of my uncle's death. Though that was quite heartbreaking. No, the people who caused his death caused my mentality to break.
Thing is, this last week, ever since my husband died, I've been having strange dreams. I put it down to grief, to just situation, everything that was going on. But they're not like any dream I've had before. It's hard to describe. Have you ever come across anything like that?
Dreams? Yes.
I mean, yeah, I know you've come across dreams, but dreams that feel as real as your waking world.
Yes. But someone talks to me who isn't here, asks me to do things, or asks me not to do things. And then I wake exactly where I was before, in the same position as I was in the dream.
Well, no one's asked me to do anything in my dreams yet. I think I would find that quite alarming. There's music and dancing and this green fire flickering. And
Keeper, is there a fireplace in the sitting room we're in?
yes, there is. It's
Is
not
it
lit
lit?
at the moment.
I will still look at the fireplace.
The hearth is cold. It's July. It's currently quite warm out, so the fire's not lit. Very quite boring here with my fanciful nonsense, I'm sure. But I was wondering. They're hard to describe these dreams. Every time I dream them, I get this horrible sense that there's something there, just out of sight, just ready.
In your dreams or when you wake up?
In my dreams, although I guess I fear it will follow me into the waking world. And, well, you seem... If you understand curses and that manner of things, I was wondering if you could help me somehow? If you... I don't know. Find... This... That's all I'm asking for. It's a nice...
It does seem rather strange, but
rest and not...
there has to be a solution. And something reasonable and an explanation that we can understand. I'm pretty sure you can get different coloured fires, and certain chemicals can be added to change the colour. But obviously, a dream's a dream at the end of the day. A fire can be any colour in your dream. I'm not sure whether it's relevant, but...
Well, I've not told you the oddest thing yet. Well, I don't know if it is the oddest thing on top of spontaneous human combustion, curses, and supposed fish people, but I swear I saw you, the three of you, inside my dream.
Now that's very strange.
Now, I've met Miss Carter before, but I've barely met the other two.
I don't believe we've ever met. So it'd be rather strange.
Until the funeral, I don't think I'd ever exchanged words with either of you, ever.
Is odd. Have you heard of us, perhaps? Sometimes even passing conversation can leave an impression.
Well, she had been at the museum once or twice while we were there, documenting information from the digs or bringing things in.
Miss Carter, you've got quite an extensive library at your home. Do you think there was likely to be something in there that may advise us about these strange dreams?
Keeper, do I have anything that would help me with dreams?
So, off the top of your head, just thinking, I guess this would be a mythos roll, because you're not sort of having a chance to go through the library and actually look at stuff.
All right. The Cthulhu mythos, or...
Yeah, I think. Because this is whether you know it without going back and referring to any of your books. You don't know off the top of your head anything. I mean, your uncle's library covers a whole number of subjects, so there might be something in there, but you wouldn't know. Aha, it's the blue book on the left.
I'd have to look through the library. We have quite a few books. There could be something, but I don't know. I haven't read every book in the library. he speak to you about anything that he found or was found at the dig?
I mean, he said he was working on translating a tablet. He'd got most of the lines down. It was quite faded. I helped him transcribe a couple of the words. But he said he'd finished the rest of himself.
Mm-hmm. You know that this temple was dedicated to one of the gods of sun.
Yes.
Well, it's likely you're dreaming of that.
I suppose that explains some things, but it doesn't explain. It still doesn't explain why. And she now just kind of just gesticulates towards Mr. Williams and Mr. Carter. Like, it doesn't explain why these two would be in my dream. No offense, gentlemen. Men.
No offense taken.
You are.
When did these dreams start?
A couple of days after. Well, maybe the 2 days after. I didn't sleep much at all the first night, so didn't really have a chance to dream. Doubt they'd be pleasant ones.
I feel there must be some sort of link, perhaps due to the fact that the three of us were the ones who found the body. But it's very likely it's something I do not understand. But I'm quite happy to try and look into it to see if I can find some sort of solution for you. You mentioned you felt like there was a presence or something in your dream? At the edge of your vision?
Yes, I don't know what it was. Every time if I turned around to try and look at it, that would be when I woke.
You did mention music as well. What sort of music?
Drums, flutes, it was horrible. Discordant.
Basically like a chaos in music.
Yes.
Keeper,
Imagine
does
about 50 drunk monkeys set loose with a brass band and some pipes.
Keeper, does any of this sound at all familiar? Because I feel like it's familiar from back when Genevieve...
Yeah, you think you've encountered strange music in the past when dealing with the green flame before. As for when specifically, I don't recall.
It's possible it is just random events being connected together and there's stress.
Maybe.
Not everything has some sort of grand thing behind them. Some are just coincidences.
Perhaps the dreams will stop with time, but in the meantime I'll look into it as well as I can, but I do not have much of an expertise in that sort of thing.
Yes, indeed.
Can I ask, what were we doing in the dream?
You appear to be arguing with each other about something or discussing something. I don't know. I called out to you and you looked around and then whatever it was, the presence drew near and I woke. But I distinctly saw your faces. I'm sure it was you. It was more vivid than any other dream I've ever had before.
The three of us only recently met up to do with the archaeological dig itself. Although I met Miss Carter beforehand due to strange coincidence with a letter that someone had dropped at my office, which was actually addressed to Miss Carter, which I delivered, but other than that, we haven't had a great deal of interaction. It does seem a bit more than a coincidence that all three of us were in the dream.
Yes. Anyway, I fear I've taken much of your time. And, quite fancy and...
It's no trouble at all, do not worry.
If you have the dream again, record it immediately upon waking.
Okay,
Perhaps
yes.
Perhaps something else will have changed, or you'll remember something that you don't remember later in the day.
This is good advice. Yes.
And let me know if you have it again. I think I'll go into the library and see if there's anything on dreams.
Thank you, indeed. And she bids you farewell for the night.
I will check in on you again in the next day or two to see how you're faring.
Thank you.
And I'll leave.
I think we'll all leave at more or less the same time.
Yes. Should we be encouraging her with this? I fear it is mostly flights of fancy, but we can't say for sure.
I'm hoping the dreams will just stop with time. But I suspect they won't. It could have been when we did the... Oh, that's the point. Oh, I'm assuming we've got in a carriage.
Up to you whether you're walking or getting in a carriage, or...
It's probably a fair journey, although it's probably a nice day. But it's in the evening, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
I suspect we probably would have got a carriage, more than likely, because travelling in London in the dark is probably not the best.
Probably not.
I was just wondering how private our conversation was, but if we're in a carriage, it'll
Private
be...
as you wish to make it.
Exactly. It could have been somehow when we were doing the counter ritual, that is what was in a dream, but as to why that was in a dream, it doesn't make sense. Unless there's something else going on, but we do not understand someone else manipulating what's happening.
I don't understand most of this, to be honest.
I don't understand any of it. I'm just going with what happens and going with what I can see in front of my face.
Well, I suppose there isn't much that we can do about it now.
Certainly outside my expertise. I just know how to, well, do funerals pretty much and bury bodies.
Well, I suppose we should just hope for the best.
Were you thinking of checking your library this evening, Miss Carter?
Yes.
Would you like some assistance, perhaps?
If you would like, I will welcome you both.
I could probably help for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
I do not mind assisting for all the time.
Okay, so you're making your way back to the Society Library, is that the plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So for an evening research session, James sets out the brandy and leaves you to it. And
I'll search this section.
so those of you searching through the library, I'm going to give you 3 guesses what skill I'm going to ask
Accounting.
you to roll.
Has to be accounting.
I was going
And
to
if you
say
want to just look at
navigate.
the household accounts, you can.
Well, you have to navigate around L space.
It's library use, please. One would think a niche and rare skill, but actually one of the more commonly used. or could be
How?
very filled.
I've only got 20 in it.
Sadly, Mr. Williams is better at writing books than finding other people's books. Or one could say
He got
perhaps he'd get
distracted with
distracted. Yes, there's a
Odd
lot of interesting
success.
stuff in here.
And I've got a normal success.
Maddie, what you find are a section of books on shelves that do relate to dreams and hypnotism and sort of a lot of some books on dream interpretation, so trying to sort of understand what they see in their dreams, what that means about sort of the state of their mind, and all sorts of that.
So probably sleep psychology, sleep disorders as well. So anything related to sleep.
Yeah, under the names of which obviously it referred to in 1890, which is perhaps slightly less accurate in some extents. Psychology still being a very early days field.
Sleep analysis.
Yes. Thomas, on the other hand, what you find appears to be a slightly tattered and stained notebook. It looks like someone spilled a cup of tea over it, and the first few pages have been smudged and blurred and stained dark brown. But a good portion of the book still remains readable. If you squint, the handwriting is not the best. And a lot of the pages do seem to contain disjointed passages and sort of notes and words like giant mouse, something to do with cheese. Not sure significant at the bottom of the page.
It looks like a dream journal then.
Yes. But as you get further through, you get some that seem to be more lengthy entries. If you want to take the time to have a look through this, you may do.
Can do. I'll show it to the other two as well as I'm looking through it.
Maddie, you would recognise the handwriting. This is your great uncle's handwriting. If worse than his normal handwriting.
Maddie's got probably a better chance of understanding his writing than I have.
All right. Well, I would have pulled all of the books on sleep and dreams out of the bookcase and placed them on one of the desks or tables that I have in the library. And once Thomas brought that book up, I would have like, oh, that's my uncle's.
Looks like he's written a number of dreams, some sort of dream journal. I'll just have a look, carry on looking through it and see if I find anything interesting. Anything similar to everyone's dreams.
Yes, and I will look through some of these, and I will tap the top of the pile of books. Mr. Williams, you're welcome to join us.
Of course.
Tearing your attention away from whatever interesting book you had discovered. What kind of topic would really intrigue D'Angelo if he found it in the library and distract him from his search?
D'Angelo was going over books on native peoples, Celtic backgrounds, and their beliefs on warfare. It's quite riveting for his book.
So yeah, as you make your way through these books, both the scientific, pseudo-scientific tomes, some of what they have to say is perhaps quite a reach, but some of it seems to make some sense. And Thomas flips through what appears in part to be either a dream journal or just a madman's rambling. He keeps going on and on about stairs. Looking for stairs. And
These
then
are-
something about a hall of flame.
Does it mention the colour of the flame?
No, he doesn't specify the colour of the flame. He just says, you see the entry. At the bottom of the stairs I found the hall of flame and its 2 keepers.
I'll assume
So I
that
dared not go any further.
that he hasn't gone into detail about the colour. It'll probably just be a standard flame colour, because if it was unusual, he would have written it down.
You would hope so.
Yes, I hope so. The sort of thing that would have interested Thomas would have been whether there's anything to stop dreams or intrusions to dreams. That's what he's looking through.
Not in the book you're looking at. The book seems to be more. He seems to be very intent on trying to have more dreams. I guess Maddie's books would contain some notes on how to stop dreams, possibly being various combinations of. I don't think laudanum would help in this case. Probably a note to cease the consumption of laudanum, I believe, would probably be more useful. As well as notes on other. There's a recipe for a wonderful mercury tonic that promises to help with the cessation of troubling dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Victorian medicine.
Some of
is
the
a
dream
wonderful thing.
dictionaries on
Yes.
what people might use for interpreting dreams.
There definitely would be a dream dictionary in there. I'm trying to sort of understand what things represent. But yes, the evening study session wears on and it's getting late. If you want to press on longer, you can do, or you can call it a night.
I don't believe I will find anything useful.
I suspect Thomas will call it a night because it's likely getting late. He doesn't mind helping out for the evening, but once it starts to get late, it's probably best that he just makes his way home to go to bed and so on.
I will also make my exit. The hotel I'm staying at does not like for us to be out too late.
I'm just thinking, what day is it, Keeper?
A Tuesday.
Tuesday. Make a note of that. I'm trying to work out whether it's likely Thomas has got work the following day.
Up to you.
It's very likely he's got a quieter day than he has been having on account of the people have stopped dying from that strange illness. So it's probably much more. I'm trying to think of the slower paced is probably the best way to put it. So
Yeah. Slower paced, I think, is always best in the undertaking business.
yes, definitely. But yeah, I think I'll call it a night. But I may visit tomorrow to see if you've carried on with your research and found anything else in our absence. It'd be rude of us to stop any later than we have.
That's fine. I think Maddie would have gone through the night, reading through what she could. Both the dream dictionary and maybe going over the dream journal of her uncle's.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to ask for a con roll from you, Eddie, to stay awake and carry on this night's study as you flip through your uncle's journal.
Oh, that's quite a fail.
These long and tedious dream dictionaries. And as the two gentlemen make their way back to their homes for this evening, Maddie, you find yourself drifting off into sleep. And at first, it doesn't. You're not sure it is a dream because you're still in the library. But then you see, more that you don't see. Sort of that unreal sensation of you're in a dream and you know stuff's there, but you can't really see it. Like, you're not exactly picturing the doorway, but you know there's a doorway there, probably. It's unreal, warping sensation around you.
I am looking around to see if my benefactor is anywhere nearby.
As you look around, there is no sign of anyone else here, but you do see that the one door sort of stands almost more solid, more real than the rest of the room. The door to the hall stands slightly ajar, and from beyond it you can hear a whispering of voices. You can't quite catch what they're saying. Just
I'll go
on the edge
quietly.
of your hearing.
I'll go quietly to the door, pressing my ear against the crack in it to see if I can hear it a little better.
Give me a listen roll, please.
That's a hard success.
She's seen us. Shh. She can't have seen us. She doesn't know we're here. She's not conscious of our presence. No. Quietly. Just step her back and away. And the dreamer continues dreaming. They don't even notice we're here. That's the magic of it. There we go. And the voices fade away into nothing.
I'm going to open the door and go look.
As you open the door, you see on the other side is not the hallway you expected, but a hallway of a different house. A house you know no longer exists. You can smell the smell of oil and gas, the smell of gas in the air. You see the corridor of Belfont House. Moments before you've engulfed it in flame. You can hear the sound of a baby crying.
I'm going to ignore the sound of the baby. I'm going to look for the owners of the two voices.
You hear sort of the sound of footsteps from the end of the hall. You see the door closing swiftly, and there's someone shutting it behind them.
I'm going to go to the door.
You open the door. On the other side you see a staircase leading down.
I follow it.
And down.
I keep going.
And down. Staircase descends. And as you reach the bottom, you see a large stone chamber. Plinths running along each wall. And flames burning on those plinths that flicker. Some seem almost greenish out of the corner of your eye. Others oranges and reds of flame. And as you reach the foot of the stairs, the staircase itself disappears behind you. And that is where we're going to go to break, because otherwise fear I will not get round to catching the gentleman up before it's too late. We'll see you in 10 minutes' time. As Maddie continued her research in the library, the two gentlemen headed home. Now, Mr. Carter and Mr. Williams, do either of you have anything you wish to do that evening before heading to bed?
It depends on how late in the evening and what time the bars close.
I am not entirely familiar with 19th century drinking laws, but I think there's still a bar open somewhere.
I think Thomas Carter would probably, after going home, getting changed into something less formal. He may visit one of the bare-knuckle boxing matches that he likely knows about, just to pass the evening.
Spectating or participating?
Well, this is the thing. I think he'll be a spectator this time. He's left it a bit late to get involved.
Yeah, see, it's definitely the kind of venue that would be still open at this time of the evening, so slightly disreputable. I'm not entirely sure what time the Queensbury rules come in, but I think they might be.
Not sure some of these places took much notice of those
No, I was
laws.
going to say these are the kind of places that we don't care if you're supposed to wear gloves now. Real men break their knuckles boxing, and
Exactly. But yeah, he's likely popped to one of those venues just to watch a fight before going home. Likely just have one drink somewhere, then calling it a night.
okay. And Mr. Williams?
D'Angelo will return and get some rest.
Okay. So, I think D'Angelo's probably the first home. After another slightly bizarre day. It seems to happen whenever you come across the Carters. And you find yourself drifting to sleep and into, well, don't know D'Angelo quite well enough to know what his dreams would be filled with, but say this evening's is a confusing mess of lead tablets, smoke, and black draped mirrors from the funeral. But one thing stands out clear in this dream. A doorway. Clearer and more focused than everything else in this dream.
D'Angelo will make his way to the doorway.
And on the other side, a winding stair leading down.
Very well. You will begin to go down the stairs.
And down. And down. Are you keeping count?
No.
And down a bit more. And as the stair leads D'Angelo down, we move on over to Thomas. having returned from a night out viewing boxing, and probably a couple of drinks there. Sleep claims you. And you find yourself in quite a pleasant dream. Sunshine and light, and your dog happily sort of nipping at your heels.
Exactly. Probably just taken out for a walk in my dream, some park that's turned into some woodland or something.
Well, yeah, one of your favourite parks in London. Only there's steps there, leading down where the path would lead onwards normally. A staircase.
That's strange, that doesn't seem to fit here. I'll approach the stairs. Do they appear stone or wooden or carpeted or...
Dark stone. Smooth and polished. And very solid and firm compared to the rest of the dream.
Well, Thomas will think to himself that this is a dream, and he has a more or less a control over his dream, so he thinks he does anyway, at least. He'll...
Well, are you trying to have control over your dream?
I will. I'm going to try and see if we can change the steps to something else, a different colour stone. Seeing it's just a dream.
Roll, please.
What's that, sorry?
Give me a power roll, please.
I'm just seeing if I can manipulate my own dreams. Success.
The top couple of steps shift and change in colour. But the effect doesn't reach much further down the staircase.
It does seem a dream after all.
Yes.
But, I'll just wander down the steps.
And as you begin to make your way down the steps, are you keeping count?
I can do.
1, 2, 3, and they go down and down and down a bit further. If you're trying to keep count, make me an intelligence check.
Ooh, this is something I'm not very good at, but...
You're a 70.
success. How many, sorry?
70.
70 steps. I'm rolling well on the things I shouldn't, and badly on the things I'm good at.
But these are very important skills in them. But as you reach the bottom of the steps, at the bottom of the stairs, they open out into a chamber. This strange stone, almost cavern-like space. And along the wall, these stone plinths with these braziers of flame rising up, flickering up. And in the light of these flames, you can see 2 figures. Familiar looking figures. A woman and a man. And it's at this moment, Maddie, you become aware of the 2 others standing beside you near the braziers. You see D'Angelo and Thomas there with you in your dream.
Well, this is rather strange. Doesn't seem quite a dream.
It has to be. And I am going to, at that moment, walk along the plinths, the bowls of fire, and I'm going to trail my hand across the bowls. I guess see if they're hot or not. See if I can see the green in them or not. You said that I don't occasionally catch a green flicker, but most of them were orange and red and yellow.
This is my question. Do you think they're hot or not? What would you expect?
No, I don't expect them to be hot.
Okay, give me a power roll, please.
That's a fail.
The flames are hot to the touch. sort of instinctively sort of flinch back from the fire. I assume that even Maddie has some self-preservation instincts.
Yes, some.
Does this room look similar to that archaeological dig, the temple?
It's much larger and much grander and much less Roman, so aside from a lingering templeness and the fact it's dark and underground, no.
Any ideas on what we are here for?
I don't know, I was in the middle of a dream and then I found a staircase leading down, so I thought I'd follow it to see where it led.
It is the same as myself.
Are there any doorways here, Keeper, that we can see, or archways?
There is one doorway at the far end of the hall.
Are the steps behind still there?
Give me a power roll, please.
Critical success?
Unfortunately, you can't increase power this way.
I know.
However, you can increase the skill that you're actually using here, which I would all like you to add to your sheets now. It starts off equal to your power, so Thomas, yours is going to soon be ludicrous.
Yes, so that starts at 90.
Yes, and you do get to increase it by 1d10. And this skill is called Dreaming.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
So yes, Thomas of the 90 power. Maddie has 45, and I'm not sure.
So that puts his dreaming skill at 98.
Yeah. I don't think it can.
I think there's an upper limit, but I don't know what it is.
Yes, maybe I will refer to that at some
I'll just
point.
leave it at the same level as my power for now if you want.
Maybe.
Roll out.
I mean,
we'll look into that afterwards.
we'll look into that afterwards. 98 dreaming is. The
Should I put
dream's
it
bound and then
98
dream
now,
after.
or should I put it at 98 now, or just leave it at 90?
Keep it at 98 for now. I will review. Criticals don't come by very often. We need
It's
to
true.
honour them when they do. But yes, the door is still there. It's hard to see for a moment, but there is still a doorway and a staircase leading back upwards.
Well, it looks like we have a way out if things go wrong.
That's
Well,
good.
we were brought here. I mean, this is a dream. I'm actually going to take a moment to look around. Do I see Genevive Ashford?
Not in here, no, you do not.
Well, I'm going to go through the doorway in the temple.
Okay.
I'll follow along.
On the far side
I'll
of
bring
this
up the rear.
On the far side of this door are yet more stairs. These are less of a spiral staircase and more of just a sort of stairs, zigzags back and forth. On either side is nothing but utter blackness. It's inky pitch, and if you look, there's no rails on either side of this stair. And as you look down on either side, there is no sign of a bottom. Just plunges endlessly into
Mr.
darkness.
Williams, this will make an interesting book for you. If you write this up.
I'm afraid no one would believe it if I were to read.
Do it as a piece of fiction. Under another name, perhaps.
What if we skipped the stairs entirely and just stepped off the edge?
I don't think that'll be a good idea. But can we see the bottom of the stairs?
Not from here, no.
I'll just carry on following the steps down. I don't like the idea of falling in dreams. I've had some bad dreams before.
I don't think that would be wise.
If you have
What about
anything,
flying?
Surely we aren't able to fly.
it is a dream, I suppose.
Keeper, can I try to fly?
Make me a dreaming roll, please.
That's a success.
You do find your feet. You sort of can float up. I don't know how Maddie normally flies in dreams. I don't know if she's a believer in swimming flying or arm flapping flying.
Arm flapping. Well, if I'm already flying, I'm going to take that kind of flying step over the edge.
As you step away, you can feel the darkness pulling down at you. Just this strange urge to let go and fall down into the darkness.
I want to control. I don't mind going downwards, but I want to control it and, not splat into whatever ground there is.
Okay, so you descend down into the darkness. And as far as the other two of you are concerned, Maddie just disappears into the blackness. Gone from sight. As Maddie, you fly downwards.
So we would have saw her flying off, and then just sinking and then vanishing into nothing.
Yes.
Well, looks like we can fly here, but I don't know where she's gone. Perhaps she's woken up.
I don't know. Perhaps we may need to go after her.
Are the steps following the same sort of route where Maddie vanished, or?
Maddie's probably gone off to the side. The steps seem to be heading on forwards and downwards.
I'm going to probably try and fly as well, but I'm going to aim to just follow the steps.
Okay. I mean, it's worth that. Even worth asking. Give me a dreaming roll.
I could roll 100.
You could technically still fail. And so you're flying off but following the line of
Following the
steps.
steps down.
D'Angelo, everyone else is flying off.
Angela was just going to walk down the stairs.
That seems a reasonable means of transport. As you watch as he sort of moves away from you, Thomas also seems to sort of fade from sight into the darkness. And you're now,
Well,
as far as you're concerned, alone on these steps leading downwards.
hello?
No answer comes.
This is uncomfortable. Is there a way back up the stairs?
There is, yes. There is a way back up the stairs if you wish to take it.
We will consider it, but continue down the path.
And as D'Angelo continues down the path, Maddie, elsewhere in the dream, you feel a strange sort of ripple through the air, and all of a sudden you feel as gravity snatches hold of you, and you find yourself tumbling downwards between tangled branches and landing with a crash on this mossy ground of gnarled tree roots in what appears to be a wood.
I stand up and look around. I
Before
try
you
to find
do
a
so, I
path.
am going to ask you to make me what is something? The damage for falling off things again. I believe a con roll.
That's a hard success.
Okay, you only need to roll 1d3 as you hit the ground.
That's 2.
You take 2 points of damage.
All right.
And yeah, you hit the solid ground as a wood. So you stand up and look around. You can see these tangled, twisted trees. Their bark in strange, iridescent colours. And this whole strange and unfamiliar forest. Flowers in colours that are quite hard to describe. And almost twist and shrink away slightly as you move. There is no sign of the others.
Is there a path?
No, there is no path. You seem to be crashed through the canopy into this tangled woodland.
I'll stay where I am for a little while, see if anybody else comes this way.
Okay. As Maddie waits, Thomas, you're flying, but did you say you're following the line of the steps?
Yes, he's flying above the steps, but he's just following the route of steps down.
So as you fly above the steps, there comes a point where you see the steps reaching an end. And ahead you see what appears to be a small clearing in a woodland. And as you see this, you feel gravity once more. Now, how high above these steps are you flying?
He'd literally be just above the steps, so not high up, maybe a foot above. He's only flying for the sake of it because it's faster than walking.
Just for dramatic effect. Just
Yes, exactly. When I saw Maddie do it, I thought, oh, could I do this as well?
yeah, so you just stumble down onto the steps. You see, ahead of you, this clearing of almost pale bluish green grass in this strange looking forest.
I'll look behind me to see if Mr. Williams is on his way down as well. I don't know because I lost sight of him when I started.
Yes, you lost sight of him because you were flying ahead, but after a brief moment, Mr. Williams comes into sight. And Mr. Williams, you can see this clearing in this strange and unsettling woodland. And you can see Thomas there, waiting.
Glad to see you all safe.
Well, that's to be seen, isn't it? Are any of us safe here?
I hope so. Have you seen Madam Carter?
Not yet, but she left the steps, so she could be further ahead in the clearing. I do not know. But we can have a look and see. And
Well,
start heading towards the clearing and keep an eye out and our ears open and see what we see here.
Okay, as you step off the steps and onto clearing, steps fade away from sight behind you. And I would like both parties, so that is Maddie and the other group to make me a group look roll each. So Maddie, you're rolling for Maddie, and whoever's got the lowest look out of D'Angelo and Thomas is rolling for that pair.
I've got 42 luck,
Oh, luck, I have 50.
so that'll be me. Let's see.
I quite failed.
A little bit. Yes.
Just, 52 points fail.
So, Maddie, as you're waiting in this woodland listening out, you hear a sound, a scuttle of movement, something moving amidst the branches.
I'm gonna look,
Yep.
see if I can find what's moving in the branches.
You look. You see. Give me a spot hidden, actually.
That's a hard success.
Okay, so you spot. Well, for the very first instance, you think it's a large rat scurrying along a tree branch. And then it turns, and you see these little tentacles hanging down from where its mouth should be. It cocks its head to one side and looks at you. And as it stares at you, this strange rat-like creature goes, "What are you doing here?" And I'm afraid I do need you to roll me a sanity roll here. Is this dream is becoming weirdly still it doesn't feel at all like a dream now. This is very solid, well, apart from the tentacle rat that just spoke to you. Please would you roll me 1d3 as sort of everything that's just happening is settling on around you. This strange that was 3 points of sanity lost from Maddie, and please roll me 1d10. Actually, no, don't roll me. I've got the perfect solution for this one. You find yourself sort of flinching back, taking one look at this thing, and then just turning and running, crashing through the undergrowth of branches tearing at your hair and dress. And you, D'Angelo and Thomas, you hear a sound in the undergrowth. You hear the sound of something crashing through the trees, breaking through bushes. Something is coming towards you fast.
Okay, I'm going to hide to one side if I can behind a tree because we don't know what it is.
We'll reach for his handgun to see if it's still there.
Your gun is not there.
You'll find a tree or rock to hide behind.
And as you hide behind the tree, you see Maddie come crashing out of the undergrowth into the clearing.
Well, we found Maddie.
Just twigs in her hair. Like,
I'm assuming she's just
lifting her
running
dress.
straight past us.
Maddie, you find you're clear of the forest, at least briefly. There's more forest ahead, more forest behind. You've got to find a way out of here somewhere, but there seems to be no escape. It's just woodland. Woodland.
Can I do a nature roll to find my way out of here? Or a natural world roll?
You can give me a natural world roll, yeah.
Woohoo! Success!
This
Bird!
is not the natural world.
But I'm believing it's the natural world,
As you
right?
look at it, you realise that this is no forest. This is the plants. None of this makes sense. This is not. None of these trees are any trees you've seen depicted anywhere in a book before. None of these plants are all wrong. This whole place is all wrong. This is.
Am I rolling another sanity roll?
I won't be that cruel. I'll include it in the 3.
All right.
I mean, that was almost a third of your sanity in one go, so
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna.
but this whole place is around you, like, have you, the urge to flee sort of, it's gone for the moment, but you're teetering on the edge, like, a couple more strange things, and, like, you may fall completely to pieces. This place is not where it should be.
Miss Carter, are you alright?
Since that came out of nowhere, I am looking for a rat with tentacles up in the treetop.
Look up. Give me a spot hidden check, please.
Yeah, I think when Maddie ran past, I
That's
probably
another success.
would have followed her.
There don't appear to be any tentacle rats, but you can see D'Angelo Williams there. And behind him, Thomas Carter.
Okay. Rats with tentacles on their faces. Or in the trees.
Now, that's strange.
And they can talk.
Well, it's a dream. Anything's possible. Having heard this, I'm going to have a look around in the top of the trees to see if there's any rats about, but
Give me a spot hidden roll, please.
I would like to do the same.
success.
No sign of any rats. Not here currently, no.
What did the rat tell you?
You asked me what I was doing here.
Perhaps it knows what this place is. Where did you see the rat?
How many times did I spin in a circle before when I realized I was out in a clearing for a minute?
Yeah?
Yep. Okay, so I have completely lost direction, so I'm just gonna point.
But I'm assuming it's probably the direction she ran from. I'm assuming she just went in a straight line through anything and everything in the route, so...
Most probably, yes.
I think I'll see if I can speak to this rat.
Nope, we've got to get out of here.
Well, it might know a way out. You want to wait here, and I go and try and see if I can find it? I won't be gone long. I don't plan to spend time searching this forest, but we need to concentrate on finding a way out of this place because I don't think we're meant to be here.
Perhaps we should stick together. I don't like the idea of separating anymore.
I don't want to go back that way. And I point in another direction.
It's okay, we'll go this way instead, then. And I point the direction Maddie ran from.
You're trying to lead her back the way she came.
Yes, seeing she's pointing, she's lost a sense of direction. She can't tell which direction she ran from, so... But if we stay together, it'll be much safer. And let's see if we can find out what this place is, and then see if we can find a way out.
Sounds acceptable.
I do feel we have to find a way out of this place as soon as we can, but at least we can find out a bit of this place whilst we're here.
Okay, so you're making your way back towards the talking rat.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for it in the treetops as we're walking along. And I suspect Maddie's probably going to be checking for talking rats as well. Or anything that moves.
Yes, if anyone is looking for talking rats, I'm going to give you one more spot hidden. Slightly different circumstances.
Fail. Thank goodness.
That's a fail.
Okay. No rats. Maybe she's completely imagining it.
I've only known her for a short time.
But I
Actually,
mean, this
that's a
place is
very
strange
good
enough
point.
that talking rats.
How can you? What sort of role is there to find out if someone's insane?
I'd say that's a psychology role to try and get a judge of.
Yeah. I'm going to do a psychology
state of
roll
mind
to
and
see
how-
whether Baddie's completely insane or. Oh, let's see. Success.
I mean, you've not known her long. She's it's strange. Normally, she seems stranger than normal, quite considerably. Like jumping at shadows and seems very much on edge.
Okay. Just carry on heading in that direction.
Okay, as you make your way through the tangled forest, I'm going to ask for a group look roll. Now, who's currently got the lowest look?
I've got 30.
Yorick?
That's a fail.
Okay, as you make through, you can hear movement from ahead of you. You can hear something moving in the woods. Something that sounds quite a bit bigger than a rat. It seems to be coming towards you.
Perhaps we should not continue this direction.
Fair enough. Let's see if we can move to the side a bit, change direction, and we'll keep a track of that noise to see if it's following us. Try and be
Okay.
quiet, but
So you're not sort of running, you're just sort of shifting direction a little.
I think so, yeah. It's not heading quickly towards us, I'm guessing, or is it?
Reasonably quickly, yes.
Ah. I don't like the idea of running because we'll probably trip over something.
Are there flowers still on the ground, and are they still, sorry, I didn't mean to yawn. Are they still moving away from us?
Yeah, every time you step, like the flowers you see them like closing up and drawing back.
It's trying to get out of the way. Perhaps it will pass us by.
Perhaps.
Okay,
So I'm going to try something strange. It may be strange, I don't know. I'm going to, because we haven't got weapons here, have we?
you do not now.
I'm going to see if I can create a weapon.
You try and sort of try and do what you did before to twist the world around you.
Yes, that's what I'm trying.
Nothing happens. Whatever this place is, it seems much more solid and fixed in a way than where you were before in your own dream.
So it could be someone else's dream or something else's dream. And perhaps we can only change our own. But as we change route, does the sound continue to follow us?
Are you trying to make some effort to hide your track? And what sort of pace are we moving at here? Walking pace?
I think so.
If we're trying to be sneaky, I think, or careful like that, I think we'll probably be walking. At least for the moment, unless it seems to be picking up speed towards us or changes direction to follow, we might pick up speed.
Okay, if you're trying to move stealthily, I'm going to ask for a stealth roll, please.
We're not very stealthy.
I haven't succeeded on a single roll.
No.
But at least we didn't fumble.
Yes, it could have been worse. So yes, you can hear the thing sort of snuffling and moving behind you. It seems to still be following you, and it's getting closer.
Is it speeding up, or is it going at the same sort of pace
It
as we
seems to
are?
have slowed down now. It's keeping pace just a little bit faster than you. Getting steadily, slightly closer.
Perhaps we should speed up a little. You don't want to.
Agreed.
As you... Sorry, miss. Were you saying something? As you
Let's move faster.
Maddie,
picking
I
up
don't
the
think
pace,
Maddie
you can
wants to
hear
move faster, unfortunately.
something...
No. No, what if it's like a dog? And dogs who are curious will follow something, but if you run, that catches their attention faster and they want to chase it down and catch it.
It's a very good point. At least we can hear it and we know where it is. The question is, what is it? Well, actually, as we're walking along, could we find an area of open ground?
Yeah, the ground... You can into another of these clearings where where the trees open up.
Perhaps if we get it into a more open area, we get a chance to see what it is.
Alright.
Yeah, you find the path opening out into another of these clearings. Underneath this strange starry sky, but it seems to be nighttime. Starlight. Quite bright starlight, like it's sort of bright moonlight levels of light. You can see well enough. There's no sun in the sky.
That's weird. Yeah, I think the plan will be to stop at the edge of the clearing on the opposite side to see whatever it is following us when it reaches the edge.
Okay, so are you all waiting there to see what this thing is?
I'm looking at the flowers still.
They're very lovely. It's
How big are they?
Various sizes. Some are sort of more sort of daisy and buttercup size. Some are sort of larger, almost like lilies.
Anything unusual about them? Or do they look like normal flowers?
The shape is not quite... I mean, with your good natural world roll earlier, you can see that everything from sort of the number to the layout of petals to the colours they are doesn't seem quite right. Several are a much brighter blue than you'd ever see in nature. And others almost have a silvery shine to them. And as Maddie is examining these flowers, the other two of you see as something comes edging towards the edge of the trees. This almost looks to be this large amphibious looking creature. And it drags its way towards the edge of the trees. With these little beady eyes staring at you. And this long mouth, serrated teeth. Growls and sniffs the air.
I'll look at it and tilt my head as I look at it, trying to work out what it is.
Of hunching its shoulders. It's almost... It has an amphibious appearance, but it has sort of the muscle mass and size of a large cat. Sort of this,
Like a salamander cat hybrid.
Yes. Like, it's definitely amphibious, but everything about it looks sort of speaks of strength and potential for speed. Like,
Oh, you look interesting.
very predatory nature to it.
Yeah, not something we could probably outrun. But yeah, I'll just look at it in a sort of curious manner. Oh, you're interesting. What are you?
And it doesn't seem to understand your words.
Obviously not.
You see, I'm going to sort of flip side to side. It looks like it's sizing up the three of you. And then, well, what are you doing? Are you doing anything? Are you just standing there watching this thing?
Mm. What do you think we should do here?
Well, I'm going to ask out loud, how do we get out of here? I don't know if I've even registered the beast has come in yet.
I'm assuming it's not making a lot of noise now. But,
It growls and sort of this long tongue emerges from between its teeth. It sort of watches you, sizing you up.
I'll keep an eye on it, but I'll speak to the others. Should we start backing out of here, perhaps?
I think so. Would I know what that is with my occult knowledge, Keeper?
I'm afraid occult is not the role for this. There is another skill I would like you all to add to your sheet. This skill is dream lore.
Okay.
Your knowledge about this strange place and its denizens. And currently, unless I'm much mistaken, take whatever your Cthulhu mythos is and halve it, rounding down. That is where you begin for dream lore. D'Angelo, you are now welcome to roll dream lore if you would like. I'm sorry.
I failed.
You do not know what this thing is.
Well, having said that, my dream lore believes double Mr. Williams's, so I'll try as well. Nope, that's close, actually.
Sure, I'll go for it. Nope.
Actually, Keeper.
Yeah?
Could I spend luck because I'm only 7 short?
Yes, you can spend 7 points of luck.
I think this could be important to know what this is. It's probably something I may have read in some Penny Dreadful or some book.
Well, not in the Penny Dreadful, but in the strange ramblings of Sir John's dream diary that he'd been browsing earlier this evening. There had been on one page a strange sketch of some creature looking like this, which he didn't give it a name. He only described it as a vicious predatory beast that prowls the forest in his dreams. In fact, he called it specifically the Enchanted Forest.
Yeah, we need to get out of this forest. One of the notes in Sir John's diaries mentioned a creature like this, had a sketch or a drawing of it. It doesn't name it, but does say that it seems to stalk prey in these forests.
As you watch how the creature it's padding around the clearing towards you, like sort of keeping to the edge of the trees, but it's moving closer. It doesn't seem scared of you.
No, if I was it, I wouldn't be scared of us either.
What should we do?
I think if we run, it'll be a bad idea because it'll be able to catch us.
Oop, sorry, bear with me one moment. I've done something.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry, I temporarily broke Zoom. We're
Back.
technical hitch now resolved.
Well, we certainly can't just stay here.
No.
We can't fight it and we can't run from it, but let's it doesn't seem, what we are. So if we take our time, back away slowly, perhaps.
At this point, it's about probably 15 feet away from you now.
Yeah. I think we should back away carefully from the scene.
Poised.
All right.
Just try and back away slowly. You know what?
Slowly. My mind's racing.
You're taking the lead in this. Give me an animal handling roll, please.
Ooh.
Don't even have that as a skill. My
No, I have, but not as high as I'd like it to be.
It's probably higher than mine.
As you start to back away, the creature pounces forwards, teeth snapping and snarling. And who's at the front and who's at the back?
I'm probably the person closest to it.
Alright. In which case, I would like... Are you trying to fight back against it? Or are you going to try and dodge out of its way?
Either option doesn't sound good. But seeing it's attacking me, I've probably got a much higher brawl than dodge. So I'm going to try and strike it as...
Yeah, try wrestle the amphibian monster.
thing, yes. I don't fancy my chances, but needs must. Okay, is that just a brawl roll?
Yes, this will be fighting brawl. Sorry, I've temporarily lost
Let's
my
get away with strength instead, but I'm assuming no.
No, this is still fighting brawl. It's just fighting brawl without any weapons.
Yeah, that's a fail.
Let's see now if it can succeed on its behalf. Indeed.
Yeah, I suspect it's much better at fighting than me.
It's not good enough at fighting, even though you don't manage to sort of hurt it or harm it. The tongue as it lashes out misses you by a hairbreadth as it snaps and snarls, this long tongue retreating back into this toothed maw. D'Angelo Maddie, what are you doing as Thomas is being attacked by this creature?
I am trying to think of how to get out of there. Trying to find a way out. Maybe... I don't know. I'm looking at the flowers. Okay, so bear with me here, Keeper.
Yeah.
Flowers' colors usually indicate good, bad, kind of things, right? Toxic versus not toxic.
Not
No.
usually. No.
No?
No.
No, that's berries.
Even then, it's not reliable. Don't eat berries just based on their colour. If you don't know what they are, don't eat them. This has been a public service announcement. Same with mushrooms. Don't eat them if you're not 100% sure what they are. Back in the game.
Okay. In that case, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm looking for a path out of there.
Out of the forest or out of this whole place? What do you...
Out of the forest.
Okay. Give me a spot hidden. Whilst you're rolling, you can't see a path out. There
Can I
seems to be no
spend
path.
the 11 points for that?
I'm going to say that a simple success is not what you're after here. So I would not waste the points if I were you.
All right.
There is no clear visible path out of this place.
In that case, I'm just gonna choose a way, and I am going to just... I'll grab Thomas by his coat and pull him along. He can face the animal all he wants. And I'm assuming D'Angelo's next to or in front of me. And
That's correct.
I'll just push him in one of the directions, and we will continue.
Running or walking?
Walking.
I'm going to say you're currently being attacked by a giant amphibious monster with a mouthful of teeth. Well, Thomas is currently, but...
Okay, fine. But faster than a walk, but not a run, because I will definitely trip and fall.
Okay, the creature's going to try and take another chunk out of trying to attack Thomas again. Thomas, fighting back or trying to dodge out of the way?
Don't forget, he does have my hand on his jacket, pulling him.
He does, yes. I'm not sure if that's a help or a hindrance in this circumstance. It depends what he's trying to do. You're muted. And D'Angelo, what are you doing whilst this is going on? You've got Maddie dragging Thomas. Well, this thing is snapping at Thomas's leg.
Angelo's trying to find a way out of here. There's entire insanity.
Out of here, in total?
Out of this world, out of the dream. Just he wants to leave.
Trying to leave? You're trying to sort of... Give me a dreaming roll, please.
It's an extreme success.
The other two watch
Really?
as well. This creature's snapping at Thomas's leg, and Maddie's dragging Thomas back by the collar, and then D'Angelo's just not there. He's gone. It's just the two of you. The creature's still not managed to get a chunk out of Thomas, but D'Angelo is nowhere to be seen.
Well, that's strange. But do I actually do any damage to it?
Yeah.
I got
roll
a
me-
success.
I think that's 1d. I can't remember what the standard punching things damage is.
I think it's 1d3 plus any
Yeah.
damage bonus.
1d3 plus your damage bonus.
So. Not a great deal. 2.
Let's thought this distress noise. So that's backing away into the undergrowth.
Yeah, I don't think it expected me to be able to hit it, and to be fair, I didn't expect to hit it either.
It sort of backs away. Like yeah, this is too much hassle. And stalks backwards. You see, yeah, D'Angelo's just completely gone.
Did you see where he went, Miss Carter?
Nope. But we've got to find a way out of this forest.
Yeah, let's make a way out of this forest.
Okay. As you're sort of pushing through this forest, further through the undergrowth, D'Angelo, I need you to make me a sanity roll, please.
You can't spend luck on that.
No, you cannot. You wake. Please roll me 1d3. As you awake from one of the weirdest dreams you've ever had. This strange nightmare forest, an excessive number of steps, and you lose those 2 points of sanity, but you're back in your bed, where you fell asleep a few hours before. You can see morning light starting to come in through the window. Probably about 4 o'clock in the morning, perhaps near to 5.
D'Angelo's going to rapidly dress himself and, on a hunch, make his way over to Madame Carter's house.
Okay. So, as in the waking world, D'Angelo is getting dressed and ready. Back in the forest. And Thomas and Maddie pushing their way through the undergrowth, looking for a way out. Are either of you any at all skilled at survival in forests in particular? You have it's an optional skill.
I do have survival. but not any specific survival.
Okay, still give me a roll of the survival then. The default.
That's a fumble.
So let me just check.
That is a pure
you
100
fumbled
right there.
surviving.
Does that mean you take away a d10 from the skill?
No, this just means that
Did I fall in a hole?
it's the worst possible thing that could happen when you're walking through a forest. Yes, you fall in a hole. There's just a crash of undergrowth and just Manny just plummets downwards. Away from Thomas. Maddie,
I screech.
please roll me. Hang on. Let's see how far this drop, how much damage this drop is going to cause you. Please roll me 1d10.
9.
You lose
Oh.
9 points. You take 9 points of damage.
I only had 6 hit points left. I'm at
Blackness
-3 now.
consumes you. Thomas, as far as you're concerned, Maddie just disappeared into this hole. Let's just step forward in this hole in the ground.
Can I see how deep the hole is?
It looks to be, as you peer down, easily 100 feet or so deep, but there's no sign of Maddie at the bottom.
What are the edges of this hole like? There's no footholds or anything like that?
There seem to be, like it's sort of rough worn earth. Oh no, you wouldn't have seen this before.
Roots or anything like that
Roots and
around
things.
the
It
edges?
looks like it was a sort of a tunnel that had been sort of loosely covered with sort of
Like a mine
undergrowth at
shaft.
the top.
Like a mine
Yes.
shaft that had been capped.
Or the opening of a tunnel that had been badly capped off. You could probably clamber down it if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't really have an option, so I'm going to try to clamber down to check on Maddie. So I'm
Okay.
guessing there's a climb roll involved.
There is definitely a climb roll involved.
And now here's me wishing I put some points in it. That's a fumble. He's as good at climbing as Franco is.
You start to climb down, and this root that you're holding onto just snaps off, and you plummet downwards after Maddie. Please roll me 1d10 here.
Let's see. 7.
You take 7 points of damage if you crash downwards down this deep, dark pit.
Okay, that's more than half my health.
But you're still...
You have to do a constitution roll to see
Yeah,
if
you need a
I'm
constitution roll to see if you maintain consciousness at the bottom.
hard success.
You do. So as you crash into the bottom, and you find yourself in this very small, thin shaft of light shining down from above, illuminating what appears to be the pile of broken bones you've landed upon.
Is Maddie around here?
There is no sign of Maddie.
I'll try to treat my injuries as well as I can. If there's any twigs or anything I can use to create splints or anything like that, just basic first aid here. And then, so first aid roll.
Yeah, give me a first aid roll, please.
Let's hope I don't fumble this. Oh, it's a fail. Never mind. But I'll try to concentrate on the... Is there any other way out of here that I can see?
Well, you can see you seem to have crashed down into this sort of central chamber. You can see tunnels leading up. They are in pitch and utter blackness. And I'd like you to make me a listen roll, please.
Success.
You can hear movement in the darkness. something drawing closer towards this pile of bones on which you fell.
I'm going to try and concentrate on the steps that brought us here in the first place to see if I can somehow summon them here or find steps out.
You're trying to get out of here?
Yes.
Give me a dreaming roll, please. As you can feel in the darkness something moving closer. This.
Just a standard success.
You wake up.
Am I injured now? I've woken up.
Well, this isn't good. I'm going to ask you to give me a sanity roll, first of all.
Oh. Fair enough. Success there.
You don't lose any sanity from this experience, but...
It's just a dream.
It's just a dream. Just a dream. You are not injured. You can regain those 7 points.
That's... Well, that's very strange. So I'm not injured at all. There's no marks on me.
No marks upon you, no.
I think I'll probably get dressed and head towards the London Esoteric Society to see what's happened.
Maddie. You plummet down into darkness, and as you hit the ground, you awake with a start.
Okay.
And for starters, you do regain all your lost health points. That takes you back up to 9, I believe.
8.
8. Sorry. You also regain those 3 points. No, there's 2 points. Oh, no, there's 3 points. There's 3 points of lost sanity.
Okay.
But I do need you to make another sanity roll.
Okay. Oh, that's a fail.
And roll me another 1d3. So you might lose them back again. Essentially, you can't lose it permanently.
Okay.
That was a waste of dice. You lose those 3 points of sanity again.
Yes.
As you... In fact, but now this time I do need to make you roll me a d10 as you wake from that dream of strange flowers and falling.
Oh, you need me to roll a d10 again?
Yes. Yes, I do. And you're rolling on a slightly different table.
It's an 8.
Because there's currently no one there with you.
It's an 8.
There's no one here to witness what happens. So, Thomas and D'Angelo, in the morning, it's not yet 5 in the morning. You're making your way through the quiet streets. The sun's just recently come up. So you're making your way towards the London Esoteric Society. You see a small group of people, a couple of newspaper sort of sellers, and the sort of people, street sweepers, the kind of people who be up early in the morning, sort of gather together, and they're pointing and sort of she's just wandering around like a mad woman. Like she came running out of the house. And just... Actually, I don't know, maybe you should call the police.
I think that's probably more than enough information. If I hear about a mad woman wandering around, I'm just going to head towards. I'm assuming
and
it's
you
Maddie.
see, sort of standing in the middle of the empty street, wearing whatever she was, luckily not in her nightclothes because she fell asleep, reading
Fully
notes and
dressed in what I
books.
was wearing yesterday, yes.
Yes, dressed in what you were
She's
wearing
lucky.
yesterday, looking slightly frazzled, even compared to normal. You see Maddie standing in the middle of the street. Maddie, you return sort of from your panicked flight from the house. You find yourself standing in the middle of the street in Mayfair with concerned onlookers pointing towards you.
I'll head towards Maddie anyhow. I'll do, because I'm assuming she hasn't got a coat on. She's just got what she was wearing the night before. Chances are if I'm travelling out, actually it's summer, it's probably not that cold anyway. But if I have some sort of jacket, I'll just put the jacket over there and just sort of usher her along and say, oh, we'll just get you home now. And I'll see if I can usher her towards London Esoteric Society. I'm assuming it's not far away.
No, only a few streets away.
So I'll try and encourage her that way and pretend it's Nothing for anyone to be concerned about. Are you okay, Miss Carter, or not?
I don't know.
Let's just get you home. Nice cup of tea and a rest. And we can all talk about what we saw.
I had a dream you were in it.
You were in the same dream that I was. I think.
Oh, it is.
Mr. Williams.
I assume that you all are all right. I'd heard some troubling rumors on my way.
I had a dream and you were in it too.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we may have been in the same dream somehow. Which shouldn't
I
be
was afraid
possible.
you'd say that.
Do you remember? I'm assuming Keeper there's not loads of people where we are. They're sort of probably keeping a distance or doing their own thing now.
I mean, if you're still out in the street, they're definitely watching you. If you're,
Oh,
or
yeah,
if
we're
you're
heading towards the London Esoteric Society, I think.
In which case, no, the streets are very quiet at this time in the morning.
Do you remember a weird reptilian feline type creature?
I do.
That was in my dream.
It tried to attack you.
Yeah, it didn't seem that friendly, but let's just get you home. And once we're safely off the street, we can talk about all this. I wouldn't want anyone to think we're going mad.
Agreed.
Everybody knows I've gone mad.
Yeah, as you get back to the society, you see James the butler sort of standing on the step, looking like very concerned. Like his cuffs are unbuttoned, and he like he was halfway through getting dressed when the mistress of the house went dashing out into the street. Miss Carter. Oh my goodness, I was about to come after you. I was worried there. Gentlemen.
Good morning. We happened to be heading in this direction and we encountered Miss Carter on the way.
I'll put some tea on. It might take some while with this.
It is rather early.
The stove's still pretty cold. I will let you know when it's ready.
Agreed.
It's certainly been a strange day. And it's only just started.
Yes, it has. Does anyone know what's just happened?
There was something in that journal, Sir John's journal, I believe, to do with the creature we encountered. Perhaps that journal will shed a bit more light on what we were doing or what we saw. Perhaps it's
Well, keep reading it.
hopefully there's a bit more of an explanation of what that creature was, or perhaps at least an idea of where we were. I seem to remember some sort of reference about an enchanted forest. I think that's what he wrote in the notes about it.
Maybe.
You're still a bit tired by the look of it.
Quite. I'm pretty certain I died.
I thought you did. You fell down that hole. I climbed down after you, but I lost my footing and fell down as well.
You both look fine if they're tired.
It's rather strange because I concentrated on a way out, and I think the steps reappeared, and as soon as I stepped foot on them, I woke up.
Let us not do that again.
Let's try our best not to. It's rather strange there. It's interesting, but rather strange.
Well, for now, let's, I don't know, try to gather ourselves and, I don't know, avoid whatever that
Makes
was.
sense. Let's try to make sense of it all. I don't think dream walking is a hobby I want to enjoy.
No,
Dream
you
walking
agree.
might be useful.
I think I might stick with taking up archaeology or taxidermy.
Nice normal hobbies. Okay, so it takes some time for tea to appear, but I think you're all pretty tired. It was not the most restful of nights. Even though you slept, you feel like you spent all night running through a forest and climbing an excessive number of steps, or walking down an excessive number of steps. Yeah. As our investigators are waiting for tea to arrive and recover from the events of last night, I think this may be a sensible point as ever to draw today's session to a close before we plunge into any more strangeness.